Hey everyone, Steve Harris here at Without Code. Let's have a look at the Facebook Photo Albums widget. So you can see I have the widget on screen here, and what it's doing is pulling in a gallery of photos from my Facebook business profile. If I mouse over and click on any of the photos, they load in a lightbox and we can scroll back and forth through the images. So this is a great widget for you to integrate into a client's site, and all your client needs to do to keep the gallery up to date is upload new photos to Facebook. So let's jump over to my site editor. I have a blank page set up for this. And in the widgets panel on the left, if we scroll down to the media section, we can drag out the Facebook Photo Albums widget right here. Okay, so when the widget loads on Canvas initially, let me move this just off to the side. You can see that it's pulling in our Without Code gallery by default. And in the panel, we have a whole bunch of setup kind of IDs and numbers and things like that. So there's a bit of a process to set this up on the Facebook side. You need to create an app on the Facebook side that gives you all of these various numbers. And then in terms of other options on the panel, we have just some gallery setup options. So number of thumbnails, thumbnail sizes. Then within the design tab, we have things like icon sizes and colors and all of that sort of thing. So the first option in the panel is a unique ID. You only need to change this if you're going to use multiple albums on a single page of your site. They all need to have a unique ID. So if we duplicated this gallery to put it in another place, we would just change this, let's say, to Gallery 2, and we're done. Next up is the Facebook App ID, App Secret, and then the Profile ID that we want to be pulling in. Now, I'd recommend you refer to our documentation on the Without Code site. So underneath Resources here and Documentation, we do have a full documentation guide for Facebook Photo Albums that explains the setup process for creating that App ID and App Secret. So let's just follow this guide and we'll go ahead and set up our app. So first of all, we have to register as a Facebook developer. So let's just click on this link. So we're going to register and configure an app. Well, first of all, we need to log into Facebook. So if you're not logged in already, just click that button to log in. And next it says create a developer account. So we're going to click that to create a developer account. Okay, so it says create a developer account. Let's click next. Then we need to enter in our app name. So in this case, I'm just going to go WOC albums. And then of course an email address that we want to use for contact. I'm just going to use info@wowcode.com and click next. Then it says complete the security check. Okay, I am not a robot. Submit. Then it asks what best describes what we do. Let's just say developer. And then we're done. We can add our first product. So that brings us to the Facebook for Developers dashboard, and this is where we're going to find all of those app IDs and things that we need to put into our widget. The first area in here I'm going to navigate to is under Settings on the left and Basic. And within this page, we have our app ID and our app secret. So those are the things that we need to copy and paste into our widget. So let's start with the app ID. I'm just going to copy that and let's drop back to our widget and then I'll paste it in this field like this. Okay, we're good there. And then we go back to Facebook and we just need to copy this app secret. So I'll click show and it asks us to enter our password. And now that we've entered our password, we can just copy our app secret and paste that into the app secret field, and there you go. So the last thing that we're going to do here is we're just going to turn the app on. There's a small toggle up here that says off and it's currently in development. Let's turn that on. And it says you must provide a privacy policy URL in order to take your app live. It's up to you what you want to include for this, but you just need to have a link back to the site and it's within the basic settings option. So underneath basic settings, which I am currently in, here's where the privacy policy URL goes. So in this case, I'm just going to navigate to the Without Code site and I'm just going to take the privacy policy link here out of our footer. So I'll copy the link address. Let's paste it in that box and then I'll turn the app on. First, I'll save it here and I'll turn the app on. And there you go. Now that I've done that, it says, do we want to make our app public? We just need to choose a category. I'm going to choose business and pages and click confirm. So there you go. We've created our app and we've got all the app ID and app secret and everything put in place. And now all we need to do is we just need to link up the business profile that we want to show. So basically the album that we want to show. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my Facebook business page. In this case, I'll go to the without code page. Okay, so I'm here on my without code business page. And if I just click on the photos button on the left, we just need to select an album. And now that I'm in an album, we just need to look at the URL of that album. So if I bring the URL field down here, it says facebook.com and then a whole bunch of stuff. And then at the end, it says ID. And there's a string of characters, and that is your ID. So I'm just going to copy those characters. And let's jump back to our widget and let's paste that in the profile ID, and we're done. So as you can see, by specifying a specific album on the Facebook side, you can just link up that album ID here and only show the photos you want. Now this obviously isn't a great album for me. I'm going to put the original ID in, which is my all photos album that can pull in my entire Facebook page. Okay, so that's it for setting up the initial settings here on the Facebook Photo Albums widget. As you can see, it's a bit of a process on the Facebook side, but once you've done that, you shouldn't need to bother going into the Facebook developer panel again. Let's just have a look now at quick setup options. So under gallery setup, we've got, of course, number of thumbnails. That's quite obvious what it does. Thumbnail width, we can go up to something like 300 if we want to make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to change the thumbnail height also to 300. Then we've got thumbnail margin. That's going to give you some additional spacing around the thumbnails. I'm just going to set this to 20. Okay, so it's a little bit big because we're only getting 2 columns here, but that's fine for now. Then we've got a load more button text. So whatever you want the button that's going to load more of those images to say, you can change here. And lastly, we have the thumbnail overlay transition time. So if I change this transition time to say 1, just like that, now when we mouse over any of these thumbnails, the transition is much slower. And then in the design tab, we have the options for changing this icon size. So this is the view icon here. And if we bump that up a little bit, you'll see it's much bigger now. That's probably too big. So let's just drop it back a bit. We can change the overlay color. So that's the overlay that is happening when we go over the thumbnails. If we change this to green, for example, you'll see that that's different now. And lastly, we just have the load more button styling. So the load more button loads at the bottom of your gallery. Now I'm loading in all the photos in my gallery, so my load more button is not showing up. But you will see that if you're loading in a big gallery. And then of course you just have style settings here for the width and color of that button and the text style of the text on the button. So that's it for the Facebook Photo Albums widget. As you can see, fairly simple to set up, a great content management tool for your clients. And I think this is going to be a popular one for our customers. Thanks again for watching, and best of luck with this widget.